Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Emmanuel. Let's get into the canvas widget. Before we step into the tutorial, make sure you smash the like button, click the subscribe button and pop the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Welcome back guys. A canvas is an empty rectangle in which you can put text, shapes, images, widgets. You can draw on it basically, and it can also be used for complex layouts. So let's create the canvas object first. Some of its configuration options are width, height, background, border width, cursor. So we're just gonna use the width, height, and maybe the background for now. So to create that, we're gonna call this a canvas. Put it in a variable, and then we'll do the canvas. We're gonna inherit from root as always. Now we're gonna do canvas.grid, and then our canvas is created, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is our canvas, but of course we cannot see it. Just looks like our normal window. Now we need to add a width and a height to it, so I'm going to give it a width of 500 and a height of 500. So if I run it now, as we can see, yes, we do know where our canvas is, but actually this is our canvas. So all we need to do is give it a background. So I'm going to come here and give it a background of maybe green. So if I do Ctrl B, as you can see, this is our canvas. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. So we'll go ahead with creating some items. We'll start off with shapes first. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a line. So how do you create a line with Tkinter on a canvas? We're going to do canvas dot create line. Okay, so with canvas there's a lot of room to creativity, but for now let's just leave that. Now I'm going to comment this. So to create a line, the way it works is this starts from 0 0. Basically we're going to be dealing with coordinates. So this starts from 0 0. So to create the line, I need to give it the first point of the line with the coordinate x and y, and the second point. Now don't be afraid, this is not math, or maybe a little bit of math in it, but it's very simple. All you need to do is this is 0 0 and this is 500 by 500 here at the very tip. Okay, this is 500 by 500 here. Now I want to give it the first point, so I can say first point is x goes across to this place and y comes down. Okay, so I can give it x of 50. So of course it'll be somewhere around here, I'm just guessing. So x of 50 and then y of 50. So it depends on where the y is. That's when it should be. So if I give my y here and my x is here, it should be the point will start from here. So but I'm going to give it x of 50 and then y of 50. First we're going to comment, and then I'm going to do 50 50. Now the next point is I want my line to come like this. I can make it straight as well, which means my y will be the same thing, but my x will increase. Okay, remember I'm going to increase my x, add a new value for my x. So the first point of x will be here, my second point of x will be around here, and then my y is just going to be the same thing. That's for a straight line, but I don't want a straight line. I want a line that goes here across like this. So which means my y will increase, x will increase, but my y will also increase. So for that, I'm going to give my x 150. Now if I give my y 50, like I said, a straight line, as you can see, this is the straight line I'm talking about. So I want it to come down a little bit, but it's still gonna be on the same point. So all I have to do is just increase my y so it can come to this down here. I'm gonna add one there to increase it, and when I run it, you can see the line we have. So for this, we can also add a width. I can give it a width of 10. That's too big, I guess. Okay, this is a width of 10 for our object. You can increase it to whatever you want. 500. That will be the bottom. If I give this 500, as you can see, that will be the very tip there. That is it. So we're gonna Ctrl Z for that. Now the units are usually in pixels, something like the height and the width. They're usually in pixels. Pardon me if I didn't talk say that earlier. So they're usually in pixels, and we're gonna move on to a bit of item attributes. So before we get into that, the canvas items, whenever they are instantiated or created, they return a unique number that can be used to reference it later in our code. So example, this returns a number, and that number is the number that stands for that item, the canvas item. So now if I'm going to give it a variable name, and I'm going to print the UID. So the first one is usually 1. So if I run it, as you can see, we print 1. So the next one is going to be 2 3 4 5, like that, and so on. Now I will show you how to use the unique number this once, so you can practice it with any other shapes. So this also leads us to item attributes. The attribute your item possesses is dependent on its type, just like this your width dependent on the type of the attribute you are creating, of the item you are creating, pardon me. So we'll come back to that. Let me show you how to use the unique number first. So I'm going to come here to use the unique number. I'm gonna do canvas. So what we want to do is we want to manipulate the width of this item. Okay, so we're gonna do canvas. To do that, it's not the config now, it's going to be the item configure. Okay, and then you need to tell your canvas which item do you want to configure. So now we're going to pass in the UID, so you know that's the first item, the create line. So then we pass whatever you want. So I can change the width to 5 here. So I do Control B now. As you can see, the width is now at 5. So you can use something like this whenever you have a button you click on and things change. Okay, but of course, for those of you that might be thinking this is going to be hard to manage, yes, it's going to be hard to manage, but we're going to talk about how to deal with it later. But before that, let's talk about more attributes. Okay, now to get to where this is, all you have to do is just go to your browser and search for Tkinter docs. You can use this as well. This is the Python documentation itself, and you can also use this. As you can see, Tkinter docs or read docs. This one. This is one that is opened here. So when you open it, bring you to this point. Now if I do Control F and slash for create line, I've searched for it before. Okay, now you can see we have this create line. It has arrow. I know what this is. In the case where there are not arrows are to be drawn. Okay, if you want an arrow to be drawn at one end of the line, the value must have one of the values none for no arrowheads. Okay, but we don't have that, which means the default must be none then. So first for an arrowhead at the first point of the line, last for an arrowhead at the last point, and both for. Okay, understand that. So if I come here and I put arrow, not arrowhead, I guess arrow. So if I put first, which means I will have an arrow at the first point here. Okay, and last, an arrow at the last, and for both, for the both. Okay, it's pretty descriptive anyway. I figured out it's pretty descriptive. So we're gonna, that's it for that. You can visit the site to learn more about type attribute. Of course, I'm talking about the plenty attributes in there. I also spend an hour on this video. We're just gonna move on straight to rectangles. We're gonna move on straight to rectangles. Now to create a rectangle is as easy as this as well. All you have to just do canvas.create rectangle. That's all you need to do. Now for this, now when you are creating more shapes, it might look hard to understand later on. So yeah, what you can do to put it here is just put this in brackets like this, put a comma here and put this in bracket as well. Okay, is this more than 79? Okay, so this way you know this is your first point and then this is your second point. Okay, now if I run it, you see the same thing. Okay, I have to comment this. See the same thing. Okay, now to create your rectangle, you need to provide the first point where you want the first edge of the rectangle and the last edge of the rectangle. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. So we're gonna use these brackets to make it better. Maybe then we're gonna say 100 is gonna be the first point of the x, or I could give it 50, I guess, but I have 50 here already. I don't want it to be beneath this, so I'm gonna give it 100, and then the other point y, I'm gonna give it 30. I guess I can give it 50 then. 50. Now for the other bottom part, let's give it the x, let's give it an x of 100, and then we're gonna give it a y of let's give it 50. So I do Control B, you see this is our box here, just at the edge. Okay, so you don't have to worry about how I'm going to put it at the edge. If you don't know, I didn't plan on putting it on the edge. Okay, so the top left corner here, which is 50, our point here is 50, and then our point here is 50. Now that is for the rectangle. What one other thing you can add to the rectangle is you can put fill. So if I want to fill it, I can fill it with black or white. Control B. As you can see, you can fill it with white. We have our box there. You can also use Xcode FFF. That's the same thing as white. Okay, now if you're wanting the black shape around it, that's what you call outline. You can remove the outline and give it outline of yellow. As you can see, the outline is going to be yellow now, but of course I don't need that here. You can do the same thing for your line. Okay, now let's go on to creating text. Yeah, you can also put text on this, and you're not going to be using a label. So it's the same thing. You must have guessed it right. So are you sure? Of course, it's text. Now you have to provide the coordinate series, but this one around just gonna be 1. So we're gonna give it first x. Let's give the x of 130. So now we need to give it the text, okay, and then we're gonna say hello world. So I do Control B. Now we put this somewhere. Okay, I should move it a little bit further, so we'll give it 200, 250, yeah, 250, and then y of text. So I do Control B, that's somewhere around the center, 250. So you can use your anchor for stuff to bring it. So just check this site I took you to earlier on for more things on you can do on the text, create text, okay. So I don't want to waste time on those attributes, so we don't waste time on this video, okay. As you can see, we can do more on it here, okay. Now I'm going to cancel this. So the next thing we're going to do now is create a polygon. This is where people get to start to get afraid, man. Those of you that must have tried it before, but don't worry, this is going to be simple. So we're going to do canvas to create polygon. Now the amount of coordinates you have here, if you don't know what a polygon is any shape greater than 2, okay, any size greater than 2, right? So from 3, 4, 5, 6 upwards are all polygons. So you can, so if I want 3 shapes, I'm gonna put 3 coordinates. If I want 4, I'm gonna put 4 coordinates, 5 coordinates, and so on and so forth, okay. Now for the first one here, we're gonna start small, okay. So we're gonna start with small numbers, so we first make it small and then we can just maybe multiply it by a certain number. So first one, you're gonna start with an x of 10, okay, that's a good start, an x of 10 and a y of 20. So if I give it to run that's not gonna work because that's just 1 point, okay, there's nothing there. Now if I give the other, for the other one, I'm gonna give it 20. So 20 is gonna be longer, 2 times the position of x, but this time around I'm gonna give it this one 10. So this means minus 10 from this, which means I'm gonna, the first point is going to be somewhere around here. Let me put this. First point is going to be somewhere, let's assume this is 10. The first point is going to be somewhere around here. Let's assume this is 10, but this is not 10, of course. 10 and then 20, but the other one is going to be 20, the x of 20, but now the y is going to be 10, which means I'm aiming at the pentagon, okay. So we're gonna start from here like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this back to this point. So that's what I'm aiming to do. I'm aiming to do a pentagon, and put it there, pentagon, okay. Now the next point I'm gonna put there is gonna be so the next one has to be on the same line, so, okay, with this. So that will be x of 30, but y is gonna be 20, so it can be on the same line with this y, okay. Remember the y 20 20. So that's that. I think I should come here. It's okay, it's not up to 79 characters right yet. Now for this other points, I'm going to be going down, so I should probably give it, so it's going to be the same x 30, okay. For now, remember a pentagon, when you have a pentagon, when it gets to this point it actually slants to this side, but for now we're going to make it straight. So when we finish doing it, then we can slant it in a little bit, so we don't start worrying about all of that right now. So for that, the y, I'm gonna make it times 2 of this, so it's gonna be kind of really long. So I'm gonna make it 40, and I'm gonna come here. Okay. Now the last point. Okay, so we have this 1, 2. This point is 1.2.3. This is 0.4. Now the 5th point. So I'm just gonna add the 5th point, and it's gonna close it off for me. Okay. So 5th point. Let's give it. So it has to be the same x with this, okay. If you know a pentagon, so the picture will be put up during while you're watching this video anyway. So and then we're gonna put 40, so it's gonna be on the same y as this. So if I run this now, Control B, yeah, this is what I want exactly. This is it, but of course this has to be slanting a little bit for a pentagon. So for this part, the x, I'm gonna put the x to 15, and then so that will increase the x to this way, this will be slant, and for this the x, I'm gonna reduce it to 25, okay. So we have that type. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. So now what we can do is just multiply it by 10 or 15, whatever I want. But if I multiply by 10 to cover a lot of this, will just not be in shape. I don't want it to be too close to all of this. Oh my goodness. So let's first multiply by 10. Okay, I'll just select 0 and do Control D. So select all zeros, and after the zeros I'll put 0 at the back and put 0 here, okay. That's just shortcut of selecting character. So if I do Control B now, Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Okay, I didn't add 0 here. Hi, that scared me a bit. Okay, now multiplying everything by 10, the x everything brings it down a little bit to this place, which is what we want. So you can choose to reduce this. This is too long. You can choose to reduce it to maybe 10. Okay, of course. Let me do that. So for this y, I'm gonna make it 300. Yeah, I'll make this 300 as well. So I do contribute now. Now this looks like a pentagon. Okay, escape for that. So let's see how to add an image to a canvas object. So I'm going to do canvas dot add. You must have guessed it right. Add image. Oh no, no add image. Pardon me. Create image. Okay. Now what you have to do is provide the coordinates. So I'm going to provide the coordinates of 250 by 300. Okay, I guess you guys know where I want it to be already. Just around here. Now you need to provide the image where you want the image to be. So now we need to provide the path to the image rather. So we're going to say image equals to img. We're going to create that. As always, you need to create an image object here. So we're going to do image equals to tk.photo image. Okay, and then we'll pass in the URL to the file. So let's give it what.png. So if I do control B, now this is it here. Okay, it's a png. Of course, the large one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to arrow upright. Hopefully it shows. So we just have it around here. Okay, that's how you put an image in a canvas object. Now let's move on to how to add an arc or a chord. They are all similar concepts, by the way. Similar naming pattern: create rectangle, create text, create polygon, which is cool with Tkinter, about Tkinter rather. Now to create an arc, a chord. So a chord is just a line that runs through a circle but not through the center of the circle. Okay, I'll probably put the picture up as well. So we're gonna come here and then we're gonna do canvas. Oh my goodness, I think this might be a waste of time since you guys know how to do it. So we can move on to other things in this video. You can just check this here. So okay, you just do Control F, create chord, arc. So it's the same thing you use for arc you use to create chord. Okay, so arc. It's just the code will just be different in the coordinates. Okay, so your first coordinate and last coordinate is going to be in the form of a box, so your code is going to be the one to draw it for you. Okay, so you know that, and it's pretty descriptive. Just read it. If you have any questions, comment down in the comment section below. So don't spend 30 minutes, not waste, so we don't spend 30 minutes on this video. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for now. So now we're going to move on to modifying items. I'm going to talk more about this in the next video, so but it's gonna be very interesting. But we can also delete items via tags. So let me show you how to do that. So if I give this a tag, okay, let's do that with pentagon. All you have to do is just come and say tag equals to pentagon. Okay, now all I have to do is just come here and say canvas dot delete, then I'm gonna give it pentagon. Okay, now if I do Control B, you notice our pentagon is no more here. So that is something to take note of, or better still, let's create a button. So I'm going to say tk.button. So now the command is going to be lambda. So the lambda is going to be lambda. Of course, it takes in some. Okay. Of course, it takes in an argument. Okay. We're going to be canvas dot delete. Then we're going to do pentagon. I guess that's not up to 79. Oh, it's more than. So now if I run this, Control B, what's that? Oh sorry, that's command equals to, okay, sorry about that guys. That's command equals to lambda e. Okay, sorry about that. Control B. Okay, now whenever I click, let me remove the comment this. So whenever I remove this, so whenever I click on my button, it should remove the pentagon. That's what I'm doing here. So lambda canvas dot delete pentagon. So whenever I click on my button, it's gonna, lambda is gonna trigger this function. So when I click on my button down here, Control D, it deletes the pentagon. Okay, now you can do that. We'll do more of tagging and binding in our next video. That's gonna be fun, and you can clear all your items in the canvas. We just put in setting this to all. That's it. Okay, and okay, if I do Ctrl B now and I click D, it deletes everything on my canvas. Very simple. So you can also use chords method to change the coordinates of your items, of course using the number returned from creating it. You guys might be a little bit confused about that, but I'm just gonna use this as well. So we're gonna do chords. So if I just do canvas.chords without putting anything here and I print it out, for example like this, print canvas.chords, and I give it the elements, so let's say pentagon. You can also use the ID in this case. For example, if I give it the UID in this case, so you see, and I click on this D, oh sorry, it's not supposed to be in strings, UID, and I do Ctrl B and I click on this, it deletes the line. Okay, you can also use the UID, but tag makes it easier. And remember, I told you we are going to talk about something that makes it easier, but that will be more in the next video. So now let me do Ctrl Z. So if I do canvas.chords without passing anything, and I run Ctrl B, okay, pentagon, and I run Ctrl B, it's going to return the coordinates of the pentagon. As you can see, 100. It's going to return all the coordinates, this the first, like that, like so on and so forth. Okay, now if I want to shift the coordinates, so all I have to do is just pass in canvas.chords pentagon and then pass in the coordinates, or I can use the UID, whatever I want. So rather, I think I'm going to use UID for this, so I've used that for that, so I'm going to use UID for this instead. So I'm going to do comma, and then I'm going to do the coordinates. So this is going to make it easier since it's the line. So for the line, the first point, I'm just going to shift it by I'm going to change this to 100 by 100 instead. 100 by 100. Another point is going to be 150 by 50, 200 by 200. But instead of doing it here, I'm going to do it in here. Okay, let's make sure this one is for this one. I don't want to miss any brackets there, so I'm going to paste it in here. Ctrl V. Okay, so I do Ctrl B now. So whenever I click on this button, my line should move. So if I do this, expected at least 4, got 2. Okay, so the problem with this is, okay, I wanted you guys to see it, you cannot do it this way if you're going to be using your chord. So you have to put it like this. So if I do Ctrl B, that's when it's going to work. So if I do this, you see my line moves. Okay, so now you know you cannot use brackets whenever you're using your chords. So it's, of course, if you click again, it's already on the same point, so it's not going to move any further. Just like I showed you in manipulation of styles, you can also raise and lower the canvas items. So in the case where when I do this, no, this was created after I created my line, so it's just above the line. So now if I come here and I do canvas dot raise, okay, so oh sorry, remember I said normally it's supposed to be raise, but because of Tkinter as a keyword, reserved keyword for raise is used for something else in Python, so we can't use it, so it's lifts. Okay, so we're gonna do the lift, and then we're gonna provide the UID or the tag. So I'm gonna provide the UID. Now if I do Ctrl B, so this way my line is not going to, okay, so I need to change the color of my line first. There's my line. Fill, okay, that's not gonna work. Let me put it in here instead. Fill equals to orange. If I do Ctrl B, now if I click on this, it's above it, and that's because I did canvas.lift UID. If I comment and do Ctrl B, if I press this, it's gonna go beneath it, but with the canvas.lift, it lifts it above any other thing. Okay, as you can see, that's how it works basically. You just play along with it. If you don't know about how to use this link and lower very well, watch my video on manipulation of window styles and you get help of it. I'm gonna put in the description below as well, and you should see a card up right now about I think around the top right corner of my screen, okay, of your screen. So you should see a suggestion. That's it guys, thanks for watching the video. Then you give the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out my next epic content. Much love guys, peace out.